With the hype for Stranger Things Season 5 building up, I started wondering, what if I made my own Stranger Things game? But I didn't want to spend years on this. So I gave myself a crazy challenge. 2 weeks. 2 weeks to make the absolute best Stranger Things fan game possible. Obviously, I didn't have time to recreate the whole show, so I needed a solid plan. Here's the setup. You play as Steve Harrington. He's trapped in a lab inside the Upside Down, trying to escape while protecting the kids. But it's not just walking simulator. You have to complete tasks and fight off Demogorgons. And hey, if you want to play the final result yourself, the link is already in the description. But first, let me show you how I built this thing from scratch. Alright, let's open up Unity and start a new project. Now, let's be real. I have zero experience with character modeling. If I tried to model Steve, he'd look like a melted potato. So I headed over to Sketchfab and found this incredible Steve Harrington model. It looks amazing, so I imported it straight into Unity. Next, we need to get him moving. I didn't want to write a movement script from scratch, so I grabbed a high-quality character controller from the Unity Asset Store. After some tweaking, I got it working, and honestly, it feels pretty smooth. Now, we can walk, but we need to fight. I spent a while wondering, what weapon should Steve use? And then it hit me. There is only one iconic option, the baseball bat with the nails. I went back online, found a great 3D model, and imported it. I coded a basic combat system and a weapon pickup system. Visuals show Steve hitting a white cube or a dummy. At this stage, Steve was just beating up a white cube, which was kind of funny, but we need a real threat. I found a highly detailed Demogorgon model on Sketchfab that came with some terrifying animations. Now came the hard part, the AI. I set up a navigation mesh so the monster knows where to walk. Then I wrote the script to make it chase the player. Seeing it run at you for the first time is actually kind of scary. But I thought, you know what? Just fighting Demogorgons might get boring after a while. This game needs a finale. It needs a boss fight. I think you all guessed who it is. Vecna. I coded a specific AI for Vecna, but I wanted to add some spice to the gameplay. I added Vecna's curse. Here's how it works. Every 50 seconds, the curse triggers. The player has to perform a specific action quickly to break the curse, or it's game over. It adds this layer of stress that I really love. Okay, we have Steve, we have the monsters, but where are the kids? I looked everywhere online for models of Dustin, Mike, Lucas, and Max. Nothing. Zero. And like I said, I hate 3D modeling. So I turned to my last resort, artificial intelligence. I used an AI tool called Rodin to turn 2D images of the cast into 3D models. Are they perfect? No. Do they work? Sort of. I added an AI controller to them so they automatically follow Steve around the map like a little duckling squad. The mechanics were done, so it was time to build the world. I found this massive hospital environment on Sketchfab. It was perfect for that creepy lab vibe. I placed Steve and the kids into the map and scripted the doors to open dynamically as you enter rooms. At first, I started placing lights everywhere. But then I realized, wait, this is the Upside Down. There's no electricity in the Upside Down. It needs to be dark. So I deleted all the lights. Now the hospital looked spooky, but it also looked too empty. It needed those iconic vines. I wanted vines covering the walls, but I had no idea how to place them manually without going insane. Then I had a brainwave. I downloaded a free ivy scattering plugin for Unity. I scattered the ivy all over the map, but green ivy looks too happy. So I changed the material texture to this gross, fleshy red color. And thank God it actually worked. It looks disgusting, which is exactly what I wanted. I spent way too much time just walking around looking at the gross vines. I tweaked the lighting to be much darker and more horror-like. Since it was pitch black, Steve needed a flashlight. I couldn't find a good holding flashlight animation online, so I had to jump into Blender. I made a custom animation, which was a struggle, but I got it working. I honestly couldn't believe the game was looking this good. I originally planned to give Steve a gun as a second weapon, but then I scratched that idea. It just didn't feel right for his character. Then I remembered, Demogorgons hate fire. So I added a Molotov cocktail. I coded the throwing mechanics and the fire particle effects. Now you have a strategic way to clear out groups of enemies. To make the gameplay loop interesting, I made the Demogorgons spawn through portals. But just killing things isn't enough. We need objectives. I added a key system. A key spawns randomly somewhere on the map, and you have to find it to unlock the next area. I also added a password panel where the player has to find a hidden code to progress. I added a bunch of other mini-tasks, but I won't spoil them all here. You'll have to play to find out. I had the main gameplay loop finished, but I completely forgot about the most important part of a horror game: audio. I quickly threw together a UI design and imported sound effects, monster screams, footsteps, and creepy ambient music. To top it all off, I added post-processing to give it that cinematic, grainy 80s movie look. And just like that, the game was done. This was a crazy 2 weeks, but I'm super proud of how it turned out. If you want to support me and try the game yourself, you can get it on itch.io for just $1.99. Every dollar really helps me keep making these videos. I've also put together a cinematic gameplay trailer, so let's watch that right now. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you want to see more devlogs. Enjoy the trailer, and thanks for watching.